This course is intended for manufacturers and suppliers of medical devices planning to enter or expand into the Chinese market. It provides an overview of the pre-market approval process for medical devices. Note that although in vitro diagnostic IVD instruments are considered medical devices, the reagents have many particular regulatory requirements which will be addressed in another course. We will start with a brief overview of the market and touch on some of the dramatic changes happening in China affecting the medical devices market. Then we will introduce the relevant regulations and the authorities responsible for them. We will then introduce the Chinese definition of medical devices and the types of products which are covered by regulation, the risk-based classification scheme, and how the regulations are applied to the different risk classes. Let us begin by looking at the medical device market in China. We have all heard stories of the booming Chinese economy. With the average 7% GDP growth annually during 2012 through 2017, China has become the second largest economy in the world and supposed to become the largest by exceeding the US in the next decade. With increasing money in the bank and rapidly aging society, naturally there is increased demand for better healthcare services. The total healthcare expense in 2017 has grown to 5 trillion RMB, or $750 billion US dollars, which is accounting for 6.2% of GDP. With 16% annual growth in 2017, China's central government invested 1.4 trillion renminbi, or $210 billion US dollars, in healthcare infrastructure building. This has led to the construction of many new clinical facilities, including thousands of local primary care clinics and more than 300 new large hospitals. Part of this investment also led to an expansion of medical insurance to see 1.27 billion Chinese covered by medical insurance. This investment in healthcare is driving a rapid growth in procurement of medical products and often premium pricing for more advanced technology. Surprisingly, reimbursement prices, especially for high-tech products such as active implantable, can substantially exceed those obtained in Western markets. In China, medical devices are strictly controlled by the government. The healthcare sector is also centrally administered by the government. Nearly 90% of the healthcare sector's medical institutions are government-owned, and medical professionals working in a medical institution are direct employees. This means that hospitals purchase the medical products, equipment, and devices in bulk, then distribute to their staff, i.e. doctors and nurses, for supply to individual patients. In order to reach the Chinese healthcare sector, a medical device has to conform with all of the Chinese legal requirements and be pre-approved for sale. In order to gain market access, manufacturers of medical devices must interface with not just one government agency, but with a number of authorities that govern different aspects of business activities in China. These authorities may be divided into two groups: authorities that are in charge of regulatory requirements for pre-market approval and post-market activities to assure medical device quality and compliance, and authorities that govern the company's day-to-day business activities, such as marketing and sales. The first group includes mainly four agencies. The National Medical Product Administration, or NMPA, previous name CFDA, is responsible for whole life cycle administration of medical device, including pre-market approval of local Class 3 device and all import device, and post-market surveillance requirements. We will go into more details on the NMPA and market approval later in this course. The Ministry of Health, or MOH, in cooperation with the NMPA Act to ensure that product surveillance and recall requirements are met. The General Administration of Quality Supervision, Inspection and Quarantine, or AQSIQ, conducts import inspection against NMPA registration license. The local, provincial, and municipal MPA offices are subdivisions of NMPA, and they are the authority responsible for pre-market approval of local Class 2 and Class 1 device, issuing manufacturing and distribution license, as well as conducting daily post-market inspection. In 2018, The NMPA had been merged with AQSIQ and some other government authorities into the newly formed State Administration for Market Regulation, SAMR. We will closely watch the progress of this government structural adjustment. At this moment, we believe NMPA will continue to operate all its functions independently.